did we come up with the band name? The two people that came up with the band name were not in the band anymore. The first drummer we had that wrote the demo that got Kataklysm signed. See, he came in on the first record in 94, right?
94, yeah.
94. And was on the last song on the demo. It's a little complicated, but the first guy, if you read the book, see, you'll understand. But the band name was actually started, the idea was started with our ex-singer, Sylvain, from the two first records. And he came out with it in a Latin version. It was called Kataklysmos, which is a Latin version. I didn't like how it sounded. It sounded weird. I know there's a French TV series called Captain Cosmos, and it sucked. And it was like a really bad program on TV. And I was like, dude, it sounds like that. And he was like, oh really? And I was like, yeah. And it didn't work out. But then we looked at it and we didn't like it. He wanted to call it Kataklysmos. I said no. Does it sound good? And then my drummer Ariel at that time, he says we should just call it Kataklysm. And then I said cool, but I still don't like how it looks. Change the C's for the K's because we like creator. So we were like, just do that, and I think it just fits it better. So and I was like, and it just looked better as a name like that. And that's how we started. You know, that's how at that point. That's when, and that was probably 1992. Was it 91, right? Fall of 91. Long time ago.
So, what would you say?
No, don't give up, because we can't fucking play our instruments. No, seriously. Okay. We are not the best musicians in the world, but we're good songwriters. Okay? I can't play bass good. Okay? I started playing bass in the band, but I wrote songs like Shadows and Dust. I wrote a lot of the big songs Kataklysm has. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're not the best guitar player, best musician. It's your soul that matters. Okay? If you're a great guitar player, then get into the technical jazz and all that stuff, and it can impress people. But if you're a good musician, then you're gonna have like in the sense of like writing songs, you're gonna have more of a blues-edged sound. You're gonna be more straightforward and more basic. But sometimes that's better. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he could do all kinds of crazy things with his drum kit. He could go absolutely insane, but he sometimes just likes that simple, straight rock beat behind a big ton of guitars, and it's just going to sound better for us. And then he'll go, and then he's going to show off a little bit, right? And then, you know,
that's a big word.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So, you know, don't give up, and if this is what you really want to do, you're going to find your way. That's the way to put it. I think everybody should answer this one, because everybody, I think, kind of started for maybe differently. You know what I mean? So you should go first.
Yeah, for me it was back in 1989, like death metal was starting out. So all the bands that were coming out were great. You know, all the Morbid Angels and Napalm Death, even Obituary, Suffocation. All the early bands were great. So I was like only playing rock before that. Prior to that, since I'm a big rock freak, so this was kind of new for me, but I grabbed on real quick, and it was like for a couple of years I was a big death metal freak. Then, of course, I wanted to play in a band, so there you go. So I had like one of my friends that talked to Sylvain, the old singer, then from there on, and that's why I joined this band. But that's why I'm playing death metal right now, because of those days, you know, because I was a big death metal freak, so that's why. I don't listen to it that much anymore, but I love playing it because it's a lot of energy. You know? It's a good feeling when you get out. You're like man, I lost 1,000 calories in and 10 pounds, you're like burned out, it's a big rush, it's comparable to just like
And there's
rock.
there's still bands you listen to though, like
Yeah,
on
of
the
course.
bus all the time, but
Yeah, like the old albums I prefer, but I still listen to all the older bands I love.
Van Halen, Panama.
But
But
then I-
he doesn't listen to anything new, it's just an old soul.
yeah, but I listen to like some old Motherland Creation and old like
Yeah.
anything that's old Gorguts, old Gorefest and whatever. All the earlier albums were, I think for me was great for that metal.
Mm.
But that's me, so anybody else.
So what was the question again?
What made you want to play extreme music as opposed to something else?
I think, for me personally, it just like, I grew up, listening to rock and stuff like that, and it just, when I first heard it, it was, there's a transition everybody goes through, I think. You meet some of your friends, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey man, listen to this, and then you're cool if you listen to this because this is heavier than this, and everybody gets kind of like that. And at that time, in my early teens, I was, starting to get into this. But I think I got into it a lot with the thrash era. That was where I started Kataklysm based on thrash music. Sylvain came in, brought the real extreme stuff, and then bands I never heard in my life, pestilence and all that. I was like, what the fuck is this, bolt thrower? But then that's when I got more into death metal. So he was responsible to bringing me into that scene a lot. And also my cousin with Napalm Death brought Scum, which, this was crazy. He brought Scum to his high school, which ended up, I was listening only to Testament, Nuclear Assault, Overkill. I was like freaking out. Like those were the bands that influenced me. Like I loved all that scene, in Sacred Reich, all that, Death Angel. And he brought this tape to my cousin. It was a Scum record, right, from Napalm. And my cousin brought it to me, and he's like, oh, that? Listen to this. and I was like, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, I loved it. I hated it, but I loved it. Do you know what I mean? It was so crazy that I loved it, but I couldn't hear shit because it was so badly produced. But then they did, you got the Scum song and just like everything, and I was like, oh fuck, I like it. And then I got influenced by that, and it brought me into more of the scene. And then I was more influenced in the UK scene for the extreme music, Carcass, and all that, the scene coming out of there, Bolt Thrower, Napalm. Those were my three bands I really loved, and that blended in with my thrash influences. I think that was what got me really into playing extreme music, and this, at that time, cock rock was a big thing. In late 80s, it was like, Rat and all that was huge.
Yeah.
And I was listening to that stuff too. I would lie. I would say, no, I love Guns N' Roses, still do. Love the Skid Row record, like all, loved all that scene too. But there's no way I could play that stuff. It's just boring kind of, and I wanted to just go crazy and play bass. Got into playing bass because I thought guitars had too many strings. I'll play the four big ones and be easy. So that was me.
No, I guess I got into the extreme music. I know when you were like 15, 16 years old in high school, I was kind of an angry kid, pissed off at the world, and I think that what brought me into playing this type of music. And nowadays it's still a good feeling to go on stage and be like, rah, give a good show, and then get off the stage and like feel fresh and good. But yeah, to me, like, Iron Maiden made me play guitar when I was like 11 years old, and my mother took me to the concert. We saw the Seven Son tour, and I was like, yeah, I want to play guitar, and that's what really got me into playing guitar. But the extreme music was just like me being in high school, getting pissed off at the world, and then I started to listen to all the crazy stuff, like the crazy extreme, like Napalm Death, or old Carcass, and I was like, yeah, let's do a band like this.
He told me once, and I remember once he told me that, like, when you came in the first time you saw the band, when we first auditioned for it, like when we first started playing Kataklysm together, he listened to what we were playing, and he was like, man, this fucking sucks.